Hi everybody, I'm Alicia.
I'm Adam.
And this is
The
Sibling
Sibling
Connection.
Connection.
We're here today with Aqib to discuss Kabhi, Khushi, Kabhi, Gham. So Aqib, did you want to do a quick plot summary?
Sure. So Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham follows this rich family. They're the Rajan family, based in New Delhi, based on the mansion day. Actually, it's probably in somewhere in UK.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah, it follows their family. It's headed by this patriarch, Yash Raichand, and it's basically about how his son falls in love with this very simple girl from Chandni Chowk, and how the dad doesn't approve of their love, and how the children are basically banished from their homes, and how they deal with it 10 years down the line. So it's a very nostalgic trip for me. I've watched this movie like 1,000 times, and every time I watch it, it's like, yeah, it's home to me. So I really love that movie for sure.
Absolutely. Was there a part of the movie that you love the most or that you connect to the most?
I really enjoy the songs.
Yeah.
The songs are amazing. I think that's pretty much any current Joker movie.
Yeah.
Like, the songs have to be really good. I think that's part of his formula. And again, just like the movie, the songs are also very nostalgic. Like every time you hear it, like you're taken back to a place. It came out in like 2001. I was 2 years old, but like I probably watched it. Like I remember watching it, along several time frames of my life. So every time I hear the songs, I'm like, oh, I was at this point in my life and I watched it the first time, or like when I actually watched it and I remember the movie. So yeah, like the songs were actually the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah. Adam, what was, you and I have watched this a million times. We can recite the dialogue by heart at this point. We know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. But I never get bored of it. It's something, like you said, about nostalgia and taking you back to a place. And it's just, at the end of the day, it's such a loving, feel-good movie, which is really weird to say about a movie like this, but it just makes me feel good to watch it. But I know you're a huge fan of the movie too.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite part?
Yeah, definitely the music and the dance sequences are really good. Like whenever you get Shah Rukh Khan from this era, you're always going to have really good songs, you're really going to have really good dances. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the plots as well. Like I know how we were talking about how there are some things that were pretty convenient that were happening in terms of plot, but I really thought that where the movie went with it was very good and very well done, and tugs at your heartstrings quite a bit. Even because they deal with parental love and how parents can be hard on their children, but at the same time they still love them.
Yeah.
And I think no matter in what position you're in, you have a good solid family, it still tugs at your heartstrings. If you've lost a parent, it tugs at you even harder. But regardless where you are in your familial relationship, it's going to get to you. And I think that's just a hallmark of a really good movie. Just really emotional, but also able to provide some lightheartedness with the dance and music as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Adam, you mentioned parental love and this idea of family, and parental love is a huge theme of the movie. So let's talk about kind of the characters and the difference of families. So we have Kajal's family, and her dad is very warm, loving. He has 2 daughters, Kajal and her sister, who's played by Kareena Kapoor later in the movie. And just a very warm, loving family. You can see what that family dynamic is. And then you cut to Shah Rukh Khan's family, and you have the patriarch, his father, played by Amitabh Bachchan. And it's a very, I would dare call it maybe conditional love in a sense. Like he's very loving, he's very affectionate towards his children when they do certain things, when they follow the traditions, when they satisfy what he thinks is right by the family name. And then you can see kind of how his anger comes out when, Shah Rukh Khan doesn't do something. So I want to talk about that theme and what you think of when, we cut to the end. And Amitabh Bachchan is now asking for forgiveness. Yash is now asking for forgiveness, and that scene where Shah Rukh Khan is saying, I should have come to you And a huge caveat to this is Shah Rukh Khan was banished from the home on his wedding day, and they hadn't seen each other for 10 years. So I want to talk about that and what you think about that ending, because that maybe stuck a chord with me. So what did you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the movie particularly just for the ending. Like, it's a nice conclusion to everything that's built up throughout these like the last 3 hours. I agree with it. I think, yeah, like I mean, he was banished from the family, but I don't know. Like I was able to tell that it was probably just because he was really angry at that moment of time. And similarly, like the I would say the movie adopted the movie tackled the theme of adoption very well, because Shah Rukh Khan's character is adopted by the family, right? Like, and but he's always treated as the heir and successor to their empire. Like, it's never, oh, like we have a younger child, but he's our own, so we're gonna give it to him instead. It's always, no, we adopted him. He's part of our family. He might not be our blood, but he's our son.
Yeah.
And I think that like despite being banished and staying away for 10 years, you could tell, like even with the mom especially, right, like how it really mattered to him that he was banished and he wasn't with her the entire time. So yeah, I was like, I love the ending to the movie. I love like I would say the debate like that they have before like they apologize to each other. So
Yeah,
for sure.
What do you think about the ending of the movie?
Yeah, like I think it's very emotional. And it really gets you. Whether you agree with it or not, I think it's designed in such a way where it makes you feel regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that's just really well done. But I agree with Aqib. Like I sort of see the logic in it. Like I think Amitabh Bachchan's character is a very proud man. And it's not easy for him to admit when he's wrong.
Yes.
And I think there's that scene where with his wife where she's telling him that you did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And how can you be like so great if you're doing all these wrong things? And I think it was hard for him to take that, but he did.
Yeah.
And because I think he knows what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think he had the courage or the willingness to say he did the wrong thing and bring Shah Rukh Khan back. And so I think that ending was very powerful because that was basically him admitting that he did something wrong.
Exactly.
And throughout the whole movie, he never did anything like that. And he never provided any indication that he would be willing to do something like that.
Yeah.
So just seeing that is probably what brings a part of that emotion out.
Yeah.
The fact that he's willing to admit that he did something wrong, and the fact that he's showing emotion as well.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really powerful scene.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree. I think that was a huge moment of character growth for him. That scene is an extremely emotional scene. And it always hits me in the feels. That's definitely a scene that I start crying at.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about Kajol's character. So Kajol's character in the beginning is a very carefree, fun character. She wants to take care of her father, and that's definitely her biggest concern. But as the movie progresses, she shapes into a wife, a mother, and a very, I'd say loyal daughter-in-law, even though she's really never met or spent any time with her in-laws. And I think that's a really powerful kind of thing as well. This idea of like evil, in-laws, or even just, the idea of just being away from your in-laws and having that anger. She didn't have any of that. She actually kind of brought Shah Rukh Khan's character back to reality every time that he said, no, I'm not going back to the house. I'm not going back to the house. And often it was rooted in tradition for her and wanting the blessings of the elders. And so I thought that was a really powerful character as well. It's just that balance between what's right and wrong, and then also you're allowed to feel bad, but those bridges have to be mended as well. So I know, Adam, you were talking about Kareena Kapoor's character, Kajol's character's sister. What did you think about that?
Oh man. I think for the first half of the movie, when the character wasn't played by Kareena Kapoor, I thought that the character of Pooja had something to do with the plots. Like She helped to bring Anjali and Rahul together, like introduce them to each other. She had a part to play with Rohan. And so I thought that was good. But then when you get to the 10 years later aspect of it and, Kareena Kapoor's character, I struggle to think of what importance her character actually had to the plot at all.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like she was overly entwined in people's stories and overly emotional for no reason. And I know that has something to do with it being an Indian movie, and it's just the drama is like brought up to 1,000, and emotion is always there. But I just found her character to be extra annoying, and I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's just me, but that's just some of the reasons why. It just seems that there wasn't anything there to, a reason for her to be that way.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I have another hot take actually. So I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
But this was the first time I was actually watching the movie with the lens of a critic, right? So another thing that I noticed was Hrithik Roshan's character, right? Like in the 10 years later period is also very pointless. His entire goal is to bring Rahul and Anjali back to the home, and for this, like, he goes on this huge act that he's just a student who needs a home, whatever. Like, he's always throwing jabs at them. Oh, why don't you come home? Why don't you come home?
Yes.
And even when Rahul and Anjali find out that he's actually Rohan, they don't go back with him, right?
Yeah.
Rahul and Anjali only go back when the grandma dies.
Yes.
So everything that had happened until that point was pretty pointless because Rahul was just like, no, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
You can return. So everything that happened until that point, there was no reason for it except it was Hrithik Roshan and you wanted to have something for him in the movie.
Yeah. It's true. I think there were points in the movie where I got really upset because, they take him in as a stranger and they're feeding him and housing him and letting him call long distance phone calls to his parents, and he'll make odd comments.
What's his boundaries?
He does. He
so
really
many
does.
times.
He really does. He'll be like, "Don't you miss your parents? Why haven't you thought of them?" I'm like, "What do you?"
Doesn't your mother-in-law give you presents?
Yeah, and when you know the things that they've gone through, and you can see, Anjali tearing up in those moments, and he'll just continue. He'll be like, really you don't? Oh, okay.
I know when we were watching it, we were discussing while we were watching it, we were like, isn't this emotional blackmail? I totally agree. In some aspects he's intentionally doing things, well, I guess in all aspects really. He's intentionally doing things to make people feel a certain way, but then there's no real payoff to it at all.
To me, I think it would have been more hard-hitting if after, instead of pretending to be this random person, you come as the brother.
Exactly.
Right? And you get to the emotional part right away. It would have given them a lot more time to think about the situation, get to know the brother as the brother. I think here, it would have just made me, if I was in Rahul and Anjali's part, what the heck, bro?
Yeah.
Why did you come into my house and pretend? You should have given me that opportunity to get to know you as my brother.
Yep.
He did everything for... So basically the payoff was, with all of this was, it leads to the child's performance where he sings the national anthem of India, and Rahul's like, oh, who taught you this? And he's like, oh, that dude taught me this. I forgot, I don't even know his name was. Oh, his name was Yash at that point.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, Yash taught me. And he's like, and then the child says the dialogue which Rahul tells Rohan when he's a little kid. And I was like, what was the point of all of this?
I agree. And back to your points about Kareena Kapoor's character, agreed again. Maybe she was there for comedic relief, and just a little bit of lightheartedness in a otherwise pretty serious movie. But you touched on something. You said that she kind of puts herself in these situations and she intertwines herself in these emotional situations that she shouldn't have. She never met these people, Anjali's in-laws, in her life, and all of a sudden she's so engrossed in this story, and she'll just like it's really funny maybe how the camera work is done, and maybe that's kind of why, but like it'll be like a conversation between two people, and then like Kareena Kapoor will just show up in the background, and you're kind of like, what are you doing here? Or
But
like
that's
she'll like hang on to like Hrithik Roshan's arm like this, and I'm like, go away, they're having a conversation.
But that's totally indicative of her role in the story too. Like she's not even involved, and then all of a sudden she's in there. I'm like, what is happening? It's as if Karan Johar knew exactly what everybody was gonna think when they watched it, and he was just like, "Let me throw something at you." Like,
Yeah.
like it was crazy.
Yeah, I think it was also like maybe again it was an opportunity to have another star name in there and a big name and give her an opportunity to have some screen time. But other than being a comedic relief, absolutely useless, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So, what was your favorite song in the movie?
Ooh.
Okay, I am just look. People make fun of it, but the title track of the movie is what it's
Really?
all about.
Okay.
And yeah, like it just brings out the emotional guy in me. So I would say the title track for sure. Like we make fun of it whenever it comes on, but like it's iconic.
Yeah.
It's
It
iconic.
is.
That's true. It is
yeah,
true.
Can't deny that.
Adam, do you have a favorite song?
I'd say Lucky High Love.
Okay.
Like whenever that comes on, and the dance that goes with it too. It's I just love it every time. But
Yeah.
not for sure.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I'd say mine is Boli Chudia.
Mm.
I think that's pretty iconic. We like listen to it at every single Indian wedding. You know, it's the steps. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I wanted to talk about how there were some gaps in the storyline. So one of the biggest parts of it is, parental love. We talked about the father's love. Well, let's talk about the mother's love, right? So Rahul's mother is very, very attached to him, loves him a lot. And just the idea that she can sense his presence. So the first kind of time that you see Shah Rukh Khan in the movie, he kind of comes down from a helicopter and he's running, in the middle of, I think it's a Diwali party.
I actually can't remember.
It's some sort of party.
Some celebration.
And before he even steps through the door, his mom senses his presence and goes to the door and is waiting for him there. And you see that this kind of reoccurs a few times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But you found some gaps in that. And you thought that was a pretty weak storyline too, right? Like I would, yeah.
No, I was. In fact, I was like I enjoyed it. I was like, yeah, like this makes sense. Like
Yes,
I just want to let you know,
Dumb.
like all the mothers and grandmas in the comments are gonna slam you because they're gonna be like, when you're a mother, you'll understand. You will sense your child's
I
presence.
thought that was so
No.
nice
I
though.
thought it was very good.
Like as a
It's just
visual like storytelling sort of like thing, it was so cool. Like when she could sense his presence, and when like Rahul and like Rohan hugged, and like she could tell, and like she had that feeling, and I thought it was really well done. It was like it added to the whole emotional aspect of it.
Okay.
But like you're not looking at it from a logical point of view, right?
It's the theme of love.
Yeah, it's emotion, it's love, it's the feeling that a mother can feel her children's, like love, and
Well, that's clearly I'm not a mother, so I don't get it. But I don't know. Like to me, it was thin. Like I could see that they were trying to relate like the mother's love and show how deep it is, but I don't know. Like she watched him get thrown out of the house,
yes,
right? She watched him get thrown out of the house. There was no effort in communication up until 10 years later. But then she like senses him throughout the movie. Like it's just to me it was odd. Like I never thought of it that way until I watched it this time around. But to me it was like,
Yeah, that's very interesting. She never tried communicating.
yeah, like there was no efforts. Like Rohan could go on a computer and find his address. That was fine. But she never went onto a computer and tried to find his address. Like
I
don't know.
I totally agree, but at the same time, I think you have to look at the cultural and familial sort of relationship that she has with her husband. And even going back to the conversation she had with him, where she's basically saying her mother told her that your husband is God, right? And whatever he says goes. And she believed that fully. So if her husband says that he's out of the house, then as somebody who believes that the person is God, then I guess that provides justification for her actions. And then she eventually stands up to him and says, you can't be God because all of these things you did are wrong.
Yeah.
And God can't do wrong. So, but I think up to that point, she knows that what was done wasn't right, but she can't bring herself to do anything about it.
She couldn't do anything about it, but I do feel there were a couple of instances especially in the second half of the movie where she does voice her anger towards her husband. And like what I found was really good was he didn't shut her down, like not even once in that entire, like whenever she brought it up, like he actually listened to her. And I think that's probably what led him to, realize his mistakes at the end. Because it could have easily been like they could have just shown him as an evil man right until the end, that, oh no, like I don't respect like anyone who stands up against me. But no, he was very respectful towards his wife. And even the scenes where they have the stool in their bedroom, so that whenever she's tying his tie, like they're level, right? Like and during the ceremonies, like she asks him to bow down to him so that she can put tikka on his forehead. So I thought it was an interesting marriage.
Yeah.
Like he definitely made all the decisions, but she wasn't just there to be there. Like she also had her say in things.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yep.
All right, so I also wanted to bring up the parallel between Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gham.
Yeah.
And we'll do Kuch Kuch Hota Hai for one of our reviews. But I loved it because I love both of those movies, and you see a few references to Kuch Kuch Hota Hai in this movie. You have Anjali and Rahul's kind of banter near the car as well. And then you have similar actors, you have the same names. So I thought that was really, really nice. I mean, obviously it was done on purpose.
You have musical cues as well.
Exactly. You have the you're right.
Yeah.
You have the soundtrack going at some points during the movie too. So I thought that was really nice. Obviously I didn't get to experience it as soon as it came out, but as a fan of both those movies, to be able to reference one of the best movies that I love in another amazing movie that I love, like that's amazing to me.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like I didn't review Rock and Riding with you guys, but even in that movie there were a lot of references to either his previous movies or just iconic movies in general.
Yeah.
Throughout like 70s, 80s, 90s, all up to like the present. And I think that's like a current genre thing. Like he likes paying homage to not only just his movies, but even like iconic movies in Bollywood in general.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so do we want to do ratings?
All right, let's go for it.
Okay, so Adam, go first.
Okay, so I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. Really good movie, just a total classic, one that you have no issue watching 100 times.
Yeah.
And that's totally with the acting, music, direction, just the story and the emotion. And even though we watched it like 100 times, like the emotion, it still gets to you. And that's just perfect storytelling in my mind. And it's a totally relatable story. The love between a father and a son, and just how that evolves in certain ways. And it's great movie.
Yeah.
I'll go last.
Okay. I will give it a solid 5 out of 5. I think it's something that, I've watched hundreds of times since I was a kid. It's something that I will never get bored of. I love the songs. It gets me emotional every single time. It makes me laugh every single time. Like you said, it's love between a son and a father, but also love of friends, like, love between us, like spouses, and sibling love, and familial love. Like I think it encompasses so much, and it really does make you think about what your family looks like, and the relationships that you have with the people around you.
Mm-hmm.
It tackles death and mourning and sadness and excitement and happiness. And so I love it. I could watch it all the time and I would never get bored of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't repeat everything Alicia said, but it is a 5 out of 5 for me too. Is it a perfect movie? No, but it's a perfect entertainer.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, it has everything that we love and associate Bollywood with. So for sure, like it's a 5 out of 5, 100%.
Okay. Thank you for joining us for this review. If you have any other movie suggestions, please let us know and let us know what you think in the comments below. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.